On the first day of the festival of unleavened bread, the disciples said to Jesus,
"Where would you like us to prepare the Passover meal for you?"
"Go into the city and find a certain man, and say to him, 'The teacher says, my time is near, and I am going to celebrate Passover at your house with my disciples.'"
So the disciples went off, followed Jesus' instructions, and got the Passover meal ready. When evening came, Jesus sat down with the 12, and they ate their dinner.
"I tell you this, one of you here will betray me."
The disciples, of course, were horrified.
"Not me. It's not me, Master, is it?"
"It's the one who shared this dish of food with me. That's the one who'll betray me. Just as our sacred scripture has taught, the Son of Man is on his way, but there will be nothing but misery for he who hands him over. That man will wish he had never been born."
At that, Judas, who was indeed planning to betray him, said,
"It's not me, Master, is it?"
I believe you've just answered your own question.
As they were eating, Jesus took some bread. He offered a blessing over it, and then he broke it and gave it to his disciples.
"Take this and eat. It is my body."
And then he took a cup of wine. He made a blessing over it, and he passed it around the table.
"Take this and drink, all of you. This is my blood of the new covenant, which is poured out for many for the forgiveness of sins. But I tell you, I will not drink of the fruit of the vine again until I am with you once more, drinking in the kingdom of my Father."
The meal concluded. Together, all the men sang a hymn of praise and thanksgiving, and they took a late evening walk to the Mount of Olives.
Scripture says, "I shall strike the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock will scatter." Just so each of you will stumble tonight, stumble and fall on account of me. Afterward I will be raised up, and I will go before you to Galilee.
"Lord, maybe everyone else will trip and fall tonight, but I will not. I will be beside you. I will not falter."
If only that were true. In fact, this very night, before the cock crows in the morning, you will deny me 3 times.
"No, I won't deny you, even if I have to die with you."
And each of the disciples echoed Peter. At that, Jesus led his disciples to the place called Gethsemane.
"I'm going over there to pray. You sit here while I'm at prayer."
Then he took Peter and 2 sons of Zebedee with him, and he grew sorrowful and deeply distressed.
"My soul is overwhelmed with grief to the point of death. Stay here and keep watch with me."
He walked a little further and finally fell prostrate and prayed.
"Father, this is the last thing I want. If there is any way, please take this bitter cup from me. Not my will, but yours be done."
When he came back to the disciples, he saw they were asleep. Peter awoke, a little less confident and slightly chagrined.
"So you couldn't keep watch with me for just 1 short hour? Now maybe you're learning that the spirit is willing, but the body is weak. Watch and pray and take care that you are not pulled down during a time of testing."
With that, Jesus returned to his secluded spot to pray again.
"Father, if there is no other way for this cup to pass without my drinking it, then not my will, but yours be done."
Again, Jesus returned to his disciples and found them asleep. Their eyes were heavy-lidded. So Jesus left them again and returned to pray, praying the same sentiments with the same words. Again, he returned to his disciples.
Well, you are still sleeping. Are you getting a good long rest? Now the time has come. The Son of Man is just about to be given over to the betrayers and the sinners. Get up. We have to be going. Look, here comes the one who's going to betray me.
There he was, Judas, one of the 12, leading a crowd of people from the chief priests and the elders with swords and clubs. The chief priests and the elders were right there, ready to arrest Jesus. And Judas, the one who intended to betray him, he said to the elders and the chief priests that he would give them a sign.
I'll greet him with a kiss, and you will know the one I kiss is the one you should arrest.
So at once he went up to Jesus.
Greetings, teacher.
My friend, do what you've come to do.
And at that the company came and seized him. One of the men with Jesus grabbed his sword and swung towards the high priest's slave, slicing off his ear.
Put your sword back. People who live by the sword die by the sword. Surely you realize that if I called on my Father, he would send 12 legions of messengers to rescue me. But if I were to do that, I'd be thwarting the scriptural story, wouldn't I? And we must allow the story of God's kingdom to unfold. Why did you bring these weapons, these clubs and these bats? Did you think I would fight you? That I would try to dodge and escape like a common criminal? You could have arrested me any day when I was teaching in the temple, but you didn't. This scene has come together just so that the prophecies in the sacred scripture could be fulfilled.
And at that, all the disciples ran away and abandoned him.